Hi third graders, hi to my third graders, hi to Miss Seawich's third graders. I'm excited because today I get to tell you about the Wagons of the Old West, which happens to go great with the book we are reading right now, Sarah Plain and Tall, which has always been one of my favorite stories. I'm big into historical fiction, so this is a great way to kind of learn about our past through a story. In this section that we're doing in our close reader on page 88, we're going to learn about the different types of wagons, and we're going to talk about something important, which is text evidence. You need to have text evidence or proof from what you're reading when you make a claim. So if you say that one type of wagon is better than another type, or if you say what the purpose of a certain type of wagon is, that's great, but then you need to have text evidence in order to back up what you're saying. So one part of that is your claim, what you're saying, your opinion or your fact is, and then your evidence or your proof backs up what you're saying. Okay? And that's really important when you are writing, because there's writing that includes arguments, there's writing that includes debate, and you need to be able to stand up for yourself, and you need to be able to have proof to back up what it is that you're saying, so that people can trust your sources and can join you knowing that they have proof to back up what it is that you're saying. So today we're going to learn that through this text. It's really important, as always, that you read all of the directions before you start an assignment. So we're going to start at the top where it says setting a purpose. The whole purpose of this is to read the text to learn how pioneers traveled across the United States. You have to remember, during the time of Sarah Plain and Tall and of pioneers, you couldn't just hop on an airplane, couldn't take a bus, you couldn't get in your car and drive there. If you wanted to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, all the way across the country, the only way to get there was to use the Oregon Trail. And the trail was very rough. It wasn't a paved road. Only a few people had gone ahead of you at that point, so it was very rough. It was very dangerous. There were lots of things that could harm you. There were diseases. There were long stretches without any water. You had to hunt for your food to survive. And when you got to where you were going, there wasn't anything there. You were going to have to cut down trees and build a home for yourself, and you were going to have to garden for your own food and farm, and it was really, really hard. So, in order to start talking about that, you have to be able to get there. And in order to get there, you have to have a wagon. So we're going to talk about different types of wagons in this section today. We're going to talk about a spring wagon and a schooner, and also a Conestoga wagon. And we're going to compare and contrast, or say what's similar and what's different about those types of wagons. So, first thing we need to do, Wagons of the Old West. It says you need to circle the title of this text. Text is the words that you are reading at the time. That's your text. What is the title? Wagons of the Old West. Circle that, please. Then it says underline the words that explain what a wagon is. So any words that help to explain or teach you what a wagon is, underline them. Do that section, pause this video, and then we'll go on to the next part. Okay, now section 2 says you are going to also use evidence in order to help you with your writing. So it says you're going to circle words that tell how long a journey to the West Coast might take, and then you are going to underline words that tell what families took their trip across the country. Underline and circle what you need to in these two paragraphs. Then when you get down to part 3, it says, what made the Conestoga wagon especially useful for traveling across the country? Cite details from the text in your response. I see a very, very important letter at the end of details. Whenever you see an S, that means that the word is plural. And so now you've got not one detail to write down, you've got at least 2 details you need to write down. Okay? So you need to have your response contain at least 2 details from this text, okay, or proof from the text. Pause here, write those, and then go on to 4. On 4, you are going to read and look for text evidence again. You're going to circle words that explain a problem with the Conestoga wagon. So it had advantages, but it also had problems. Underline words that tell what the prairie schooner looked similar to. Okay? So you're going to read these 2 paragraphs, and then you're going to come down here and you're going to say, how is a prairie schooner similar and how is it different from a Conestoga wagon? Cite text evidence. So you're going to say, a prairie schooner is similar to a Conestoga wagon by. A prairie schooner is different from a Conestoga wagon by. And you're going to get your facts from the reading. Okay? Pause here, and then we'll go to 6. Okay, on 6, you see what's called a diagram. A diagram is a picture that contains words that show the different parts of the image. So here we have an image of a prairie schooner, and then you have words that help teach you the different parts. Okay, so it says circle the name of the wagon in the diagram shows. So what type of wagon is this? It's a prairie schooner, so circle that. Underline labels that name parts of the wagon top. So the wagon top would be which types, what words, what parts. Okay. Down for number 7, it says, how does the diagram help you understand more about the prairie schooner than you learned in the main text? Cite text evidence for your response. So they're asking you, what could you learn from the picture that you didn't learn from the reading? Okay, when we have nonfiction, it's really important that we read, but we also study the pictures because they're there for 2 very different purposes. And you can get things from pictures that you can't necessarily get from words. So write down what you learned from the picture that you didn't know before. Okay, when you get to part 8, you are going to circle words that tell why pioneers no longer needed to carry the heavy loads, and underline words that tell 2 ways springs were useful on wagons. Okay, so you're going to read the first paragraph for the first part, and the second paragraph will teach you about springs. What were the main ways farm wagons were different from prairie schooners? Okay, again, main ways. They're looking for more than one way. Cite evidence in your response. Okay, so tell me using your evidence how they were different from schooners. And then when you come over here to part 10 and 11, it says circle the name of the wagon the diagram shows, and then underline the label that names the part for holding cargo. Okay, there's only one part that holds the cargo. And then down here it says look back at both diagrams. So you're going to refer to the diagram on page 91 and the diagram on page 93 to help you with the next part. Okay, which parts of the 2 wagons are similar and which parts are different? Cite evidence. Okay, so you're going to want to refer to the diagrams. In the diagram with the spring wagon, this part is different than the diagram of the prairie schooner. Okay, so use evidence to support what you're saying. Once that is all done, then you can go ahead and take a picture of it, or you can scan it, or you can tear it out and turn it in on a drop-off day, and then you're all done with your readers, or your close reader for the week. If you have any questions, make sure that you email us or message us in some way and get a hold of us so that we can help you. We can even help you read it if you need. Okay, we miss you and we hope you are doing well. Take care of yourself. Do something nice for your family today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.